I've got something to tell you. Come closer. No, really closer. Your employees hate your training. I'm sorry. I hate to be the one that breaks it to you, but I want to make sure that you can fix it. And let's talk about why they hate that training and how you are able to fix it up. Hey friends, my name is Vanessa Alzate. I am the founder and CEO of Anchor Training and the owner and CEO of Kirkpatrick Partners. And so today's video, we're going to talk all about how we can make employee training much more fun, engaging, and we love to say here at Anchor Training, value-taining. So the first reason that your employees hate your training, it's not necessary. Frankly, a lot of training is check the box type training that we think might fit into a learning path for that role or that person, and it's not even that necessary. See, here's the thing. Oftentimes, we don't actually think about when to appropriately drip out training to our employees. So I want you to think about this to yourself, right? If the training that you're putting out in front of your employee, if they're not going to do anything with it within the next 30 days, you're probably putting it out there way too soon and it's just not necessary. So I want you to think about exactly when you're creating training, thinking about when does this fit into the employee life cycle and what we love to say, the employee learner arc, right? This learner arc, if you think about like a character arc on TV, it is parts of moments and milestones and challenges we know they're going to overcome and feelings we know they're going to have because there's certain friction that may be happening around that time. Like we can almost predict some of those things, and our learning solutions need to feed in at those appropriate moments. So next time you're creating training, I want you to think about, is this necessary? Now, maybe you're going to say, yes, Vanessa, it's necessary. Second question I have for you then is it necessary within the next 30 days? If the answer is no, I want you to really think about when it is appropriate to place it in as an assignment to be done. Again, we want to make sure that we're creating behavior change from your learning solution. And if you're sending it out way too soon, it's never going to make a difference. And I know of some people that have actually sent out software training 90 days before the software even changed systems or changed UIs. And all those learners forgot everything that they learned. So really think about if that training is even necessary. And quite frankly, video and e-learning of the change for UI is probably not necessary. They probably could have just gone away with videos and job aids and things like that to help the learner. So really think about, is that training necessary or is there something else that we can do? Here's the other caveat, right? Is there something else that you can do? Is the solution even training? Maybe it's just a communication piece. Maybe it's just a knowledge-based article. Maybe it's a resource that the employee can pull when they need. Not everything that we need to deliver needs to be training, even if it comes out of the training department. We should consider ourselves an internal marketing agency, right? So sorry to our marketing teams, but like we are working together. We should be co-collaborating on these marketing initiatives when it comes to helping with change management and really socializing that change for our employees. The next reason your employees just hate your training is because it doesn't actually speak to them. So here's the thing. We know that we need to be doing learner personas, and frankly, we think that we do them and we actually don't. So we make a lot of assumptions about our learners and our employees. It is really crucial for you when you're starting a new project is to look at that learner persona or have them created if they're not already created. And then periodically take a look and see if there's been any change in the organization, change in the type of employees that you're hiring for that position, just change in the type of participants or learners that, purchase your training. If you're an external what vendor, really think about who's my audience, right? And really, what are the things that they're saying? What are they feeling? What are their motivations? And create learning solutions that speak to them. Far too often, we try to speak business speak and professionally, and just overdo the professionalism where it actually feels like the employee is being talked to as opposed to guided alongside with. So I want you to challenge yourself and really listen right? With an open mind, open heart, is the training, if you really put your like learner hat on, right? The intended learner, is the training that you're listening to actually speaking to them, or is it speaking at them? And is it helping to, is it relating to them, right? If you're not relating to your employees, it makes it very easy for them to tune right out. In today's world, we expect personalization. Literally everything in our life is personalized for us, and our training needs to be that as well. And one way to do personalization is by really knowing your learner and your learner persona. If you want to dive more into how to create a learner persona, I've got a webinar that you can have on demand. So click the link down below to access that webinar, really walk through the development of a learner persona. And I also have a webinar on learner arcs and how to create that personalized pathway for your employees. So I'll click that link below. If you happen to be at DevLearn this year, I will actually be doing that presentation live in Vegas. So make sure you check it out and make sure you stop by the Armada Learning Network. Yeah, that's a third company I own. We'll be in the expo hall, I think booth 800. Don't quote me on that. It's totally going off of memory from last October. I actually think that's totally off. That might have been our booth number last year. But anyway, we'll be in the expo hall. So make sure you come by and have a conversation about how you're meeting your learners where they're at. Next reason your employees hate your training, it's just too long. Quite frankly, if we actually look at our employees' schedules, how many of them truly have an hour or 2 hours to dedicate to training? We don't give them an hour for lunch, and yet we're somehow trying to expect them to find an hour to 2 hours for training. We need to be realistic. People are in back-to-back meetings. They have, they have to get their tasks done in between those meetings, and we just don't give them the time to sit down and learn, nor do we give them the opportunity to, right? So we don't even almost recommend or block out time for them to do that professional development, to have them do that training. So they have to find these little chunks. And often, you look at a schedule, your little chunks of time are about 15 to 20 minutes. So I would really recommend looking at your longer form content and saying, how can I break this content up into bite-sized pieces that someone can consume over a few days or over a day, even in 15 to 20 minute chunks? Because that is a little bit more realistic for an employee to have, as opposed to 45 minutes, an hour, and things like that. The really cool thing about breaking it up in such small pieces is then you can start to play Tetris with it. So if you have, a bunch of employees that need to take that same one piece of training, you can actually take that content and then just put it into the right pathways, and then, plug in the other pieces that they might need, or create those pieces. But you can take that one little piece and really stretch it across a bunch of learning pathways, which really takes your dollar, if you will, and stretches it really, really far. And the fourth reason your employees hate your training is, frankly, your tactics are still really, really old school. I mean, look, I know that it's hard to keep up with visual design and the changes of, every single time articulate storyline updates and the new changes they add, which thank you for making those updates. And we have to learn something new. Plus all the changes that we have to do to learn about that maybe are related to our job industry and things like that. A lot of things are happening at one time. We cannot be the expert at everything. However, we as the learning department have to be the ones that are keeping our eye on what are people paying attention to. Because if they are paying attention to that, if I can incorporate those principles plus good instructional design, I can create solutions that people actually want to pay attention to and actually want to take, right? This is why I am obsessed with social media and TikTok. Not because I love social media, spoiler alert, I don't love it. But I want to know where people's attention is going and why their attention is going there. And I want to mimic that in the solutions that I'm creating. So people are going to places like Facebook because they want community. So what am I doing? I've got customers creating communities, right? Kirkpatrick Partners. We just created a Kirkpatrick community. If you're interested in joining, you can join the Kirkpatrick community and you don't have to be previously certified. Shameless plug. But yeah, you can create these solutions so you can look around at what people are paying attention to and why they're paying attention to that and see how that applies to work. We are in a place in which we are very remote, or we're very siloed, and we are truly looking for community. We're still human beings. And as human beings, we are social creatures by nature. We need to be providing solutions that can mirror those needs. The next thing I'm paying attention to is the fact that video first is the marketing game right now, right? People buy because they can see the product. They can see how someone reacts to it, right? They can see, like this is why try-on hauls are really popular on social media and on Instagram, right? Before I go and buy that Amazon outfit that I don't know if like the quality is really that good, it's really great that I can see someone else try it on, can see someone try it on like, their body type. And I start to develop relationships with certain influencers and certain people on social media that I start to build that like, know, and trust. So if they really buy into something, I am more likely to also buy into it. That is the same thing that you can mimic in your own organization. Imagine an onboarding program that is video first, right? I mean, in today's world, we just often, okay, here's the problem. Which kind of encompasses actually the previous suggestion in this one. But like one of the things that we say often is at orientation or at onboarding is, this is going to feel like drinking out of a fire hose. Good luck. And we like laugh about it. Yet we never do anything about it, which is like slightly wild. So I want you to think about, if we're like, how can I take my onboarding program and create a video out of it, or a series of videos? Here's how we did it for Kirkpatrick Partners. So I had a new employee start, and I put together like the onboarding presentation, and I recorded the Zoom. And then what I did was I took like the different sections, and I chopped that up into little bitty pieces. And what that helps me to do is now create a resource library, right? Where current employees can pull that whenever they need that little bit of like a refresher reminder of like why we're doing what it is that we're doing. And as a manager, right? That manager can say, you know what? X, Y, and Z, Sally, she's like not feeling, what it is the mission is. Let's have her reminded what the mission and vision of this organization is. Or Jake, he's not really exhibiting that one core value of wow experience that we have. Let's send him back to watch that video where Vanessa is sharing the reason for the core values, what they mean, and what they see is my passion behind the core values, the examples I have behind the core values. How much more powerful is a core value when your CEO or someone of leadership in your organization is talking about it and sharing the why behind it, as opposed to just reading about it in a handbook. Same rules apply when it comes to, who's responsible for what in the organization. What are the unspoken rules of the organization? These are all parts of your onboarding process that need to be captured. And how great would it be if it was captured on video and captured by your employees? So that's actually something that we're doing over at Kirkpatrick. We are having the employees share more of the unspoken rules from their perspective, and then we're compiling it into a series of videos. So that way the employees have access to it, and they can just go to that one short video whenever they need. But instead of hearing the unspoken rules or like the unspoken core value from my mouth only, they're hearing it from others. And this is something you could even do with those core values. Have employees share what it means to them. Now imagine a whole, library of videos on the core values and what they mean to each employee. Like that's really, really, really powerful. And that helps to build the brand, and that helps to build the community amongst each other. And so I really think as you're looking at, employee engagement, employee experience, and training, learning solutions, really leverage video and current tactics in order to give that fresh spin, that fresh concept. But that video, man, building that like, know, and trust, you cannot pay for that. The ability to build like, know, and trust super fast with a new employee is, it's what we all dream of, and it's really the goal of onboarding. So if you're interested in learning more about how you can update your training so your employees actually enjoy it and actually look forward to taking your training, reach out to Anchor Training. We'll be happy to jump on a discovery call and talk more about these tactics and strategies and how you can leverage video for your onboarding or your learning initiative. Friends, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I want to know more about why you think your employees hate training, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, friends.